Hey, good evening. Happy October 1st, everyone. The first Monday of the month of October. And this is Walt Lusk, and we have a special treat tonight. We have Dewey Wen, who is one of our leaders, founders, and writes an absolute ton of business. He's going to give his presentation. So listen up, take some notes, and learn, because I sure have, and I sure did. So take it away, Dewey. Thanks so much for participating, and looking forward to your presentation.
All right, good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dewey Nguyen, and on behalf of our company, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. What I'm going to do today to share with you very much like the last step of the college funding process. Now, if you log into your back office, and as you see, there's a green button right there called College Funding Roadmap, right? So in this college funding roadmap, there's a step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3. Very much step number 3 is where you go out, you prospect with the elementary school, and you already done the presentation. They came to your workshop and they view the workshop, and now they're interested further on how to fund their kid college education. Now, what I do here down in Dallas, Texas, I have a radio talk show that I am on the air every week, roughly about 23 minutes. And I talk in general about college funding, and I do invite them out to my workshop in my office right here. And when they come out, I do step number 2, which is the college smart strategy workshop, uh, which is this one right here. Now, for those of you who have not done it yet, it's very simple. You just go to step number 2, and you click on symbol 3-step approach to college affordability, and you learn the presentation, and you download the presentation. Now, after they attended my presentation, I, I book a one-on-one appointment with them, and that's where I do the step number 3, which is the client presentation. In this presentation, very simple, I go over with them the actual cost. So, uh, and I'm going to go over as if there's a client in front of me, and the step by step I normally do. Now, this is not the only way for you to see a client and make the sale, but this is the way I normally do to walk my client through. So when I'm in front of my client, my first question I ask my client is, do you know what school that your children going to go to college down the road? Most of the time, they look at me. They said, "Well, they're only 4 or 5 years old. They don't know yet." And let's make some assumption right now. So let's say if assume that declines in the Dallas right now. What I do, I just go to Google and I type cost to go to University of Texas. Okay, so change this to Texas, Dallas. Okay, and now normally they will show me the cost. Okay, now as you can see right here, undergraduate tuition, the University of Texas of Dallas tuition is $11,192 per year.
And we're having a little challenge. We can't see your screen.
Oh,
There's nothing on the screen. So sorry to interrupt you, but I just got
Okay.
verification of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry
So
to.
if you can fire up the screen, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
Dewey is has a weekly radio show in Dallas. There you go. Annual cost, undergraduate tuition. Okay, and he's done
Okay.
phenomenally well and writes a lot of business. So here we go. Okay, we're up now. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Walt. So technically, you can go to any website out there, and they will tell you the cost. So when you look at this right here, what I normally do is I use this cost right here, and I tell my client, well, let's use this cost right here because we don't know down the road where your kid will be eligible for financial aid, or they will get a scholarship, or and anything like that, which is great. But let's plan for the worst situation where they are not eligible for financial aid, and you get to pay, and they live from home. So it's kind of the situation where at the workshop, I normally share the story, and this is the true story about my family too. My parents have six of us, brother and sister, and out of the six, my older brother is the smartest one, and he when we just came to this country, um, um, 1 year, his junior year, he he did not have enough money to pay for the tuition, so he come and asked my father for it. And by that time, my parents were so poor, we kind of ran out, and my father did not have the money to help him that semester, so he asked my brother to wait 1 semester so he can save up and pay for it. And guess what, uh, he found a job, and he just never came back to school. So out of the six children that my parent has, only five of us who graduated from college, and my older brother, he just did not do it because he just did not get that momentum, and for some reason he just never came back. And that's one of the incident that I know that my father, he felt very bad about it, and things like that. So I normally relate that story to my potential client, and I tell them, hey, whatever we need to do, we just have to prepare to at least have enough money to pay for our kid to go to college when they need it. So if you look at the cost, $11,192 a year right now, it look like a lot, but if you really prepare for your kid to go to school, it will be much more. You know why? Because number one, the inflation will take that number to a different numbers. That number one. Number two, when they get ready to go to school, there will be additional costs like the expenses, the book, the room and board, and things like that. But let's say if we just prepare for the list right now is 11,192. The next step, what I normally do is I go to our website, okay, and I've logged in, and I go to the calculators on the left hand side right here, and I click on college cost inflation. Okay. Now let's say if I'm in front of a parent who have a kid who was born in, let's say, 2014. Okay. Uh, this is one of the clients I actually was working with in California, which the cost was a little bit more. So let's say let's do some adjustment right now. 11,000 192. Okay. Oops. Okay. And you see what it will go up to. Now, if you are looking at this situation right here, in order for them to hold on 1 second, there's something. Okay, let me make some adjustment right here. Okay, now this calculator right here, what you want to do, I want to share with you. If you happen to be in front of a new customer, all you need to do is just add new right here, okay, and put their name. So let's say if the client is Milan, okay, and the year of birth is 2014, and it would default age when it begins to go to college is 18. Estimated number of years in college is 4 years. Estimated annual inflationary cost right now I'm using 4%. Estimated annual college cost today is 11,192. Okay, and estimated after tax return, I'm using 6% and 2%. And if they do have, have saved already, and then we would put X amount of dollars here. But if they haven't done so, and then I use zero right there. All right, and then let's say I will just delete one of them right here. Okay, so in this example right here, what I normally do is I tell my client, well, right now, as you can see on Google, it costs about 11,192 a year. So by the time your children go to school, which is 14 years later, it will cost about 19,381. And if you take that multiply by 4, the estimated cost will be roughly about $70,000 for the 4 years that your kid go to school, 14 years from now. And what I normally explain to my client, so that some of my clients who I first met, they were using the banking system to save for their kid to go to school, and if they do that, the average rate of return from the banking system is about 2%. So and when you look at that figure, now it will you will need to put away about $4,853 a year right now for the next 14 years in order for you to get to $77,000. Now, the total outlay, if you happen to use the bank system, will be 67,942. Now, if you happen to redirect that money where you get a better return, let's say an average return about 6%, and then the annual cost that you need to outlay for the next 14 years going to be 3,689. Okay, with a total contribution about 51,000. So by just redirecting your money from where you get a better return, you will save roughly about 16,000 for the next 14 years. And most of my clients, they will ask me, but where do I get the 6% average return? And I normally relate to them the situation where, well, if you happen to put money in a mutual fund under a 529 plan, you can get an average return about 6%. This event, and I actually remind them one of the slide. Let me show you that slide very quickly. Let me see. Now, if you look at this slide right here, and I share with my client, if you happen to put money in the mutual fund, you are buying share, okay? Meaning that your portfolio will go up or down depend on how the market is performing. So let's look at the typical index in the past 20 years, which is S&P 500 index right here. If you happen to put money in an index fund in the past 20 years, your money will go up and go down and go up and go down like that. And if you have $100,000 in there, after 20 years, your money will grow to roughly about $275,000. The challenge is you don't know when your kid go to school and whether the market will be up or down. So what you really have with the 529 is, you cannot avoid the market risk. For example, in 2008, the market had a major correction. It went down from, like 38%. So if you do have $100,000 right there for your kid to go to school, and then it dropped down to 62,000, you might not have enough money to go, for your children to go to school. And that is the reason why when you put a long-term investment for your kid to go to school, and you want to find the vehicle that do not have market risk. So another strategy that we can help our client to put money away is the index strategy, where you look at the blue curve right here. If you happen to put money in there, there's no market risk because you do not buy share. And when you don't buy share, when the market go down, you are not going to lose your principal, not just the original principal. Now I'm talking about the new principal that you have gained last year. And I share with my client the same $100,000, the same S&P 500, but with a different strategy. That money will go from 100,000 to over 400,000 in the past 20 years with no risk. And when I share with that, and they agree that they want to get the average return of 6%, and at the same time they don't want to have that market risk in their investment. So what I normally do is I go to the workshop. I mean the illustration for American National, and I log in and I share with them how they can get that $19,000 a year for 4 years. Okay, so my objective here is I want to be able to get out $19,000 a year for 4 years for my client. So let's assume that my client is, let's say, 35 years old, male. Okay, so remember, when you run an illustration, you want to run it for the parent, not for the kid. All right, because the parent is the one who have the financial responsibility. They are the one who are funding their children. Okay, so if you look at the contribution phase, they are the one who putting the money in for the next 14 years. So we want to make sure that we find a plan that during the contribution phase, if something happened to them, the kids still have the ability to go to school, right? So we do not use the insure as the child. You use the insure either on the mom or on the dad. Okay, so if I click on expert office right here and go to expert illustrator, okay, and that's create a client, and I would say 35 male client. So they upload to do January 1st, 1983. That 35 male, and let's say we are working with a client in Texas. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to do a new illustration on this client. On the Universal Life Signature IUL, create. Okay, so the first thing I need to do, most of the time, uh, if the parent is young, most of the time they get the refer plus status right here. So, and what I want to do is I want for the input, I want to minimize the insurance so we can maximize the cash value for the client. Okay, the premium, if I look at my information right here, we are looking at they're putting away between $300 a month to $400 a month. So I go in between, you know, 350 for now to see whether it will work or not, right? So I do 350 right here. Okay, and to age, let's say they are 35 right now, 14 years from now, so pretty much like 50. That 14 years. Okay, annual we do pack, which is monthly. Now the investment option, just let's do 100% on the point to point 11.75 cap. Okay, and then what I need to do right now is I want to focus on the cash flow. Okay, on the cash flow, I want to take out a loan, and the amount that we need to take out is 19,381. So let's go back here, do 19,000. 19,381. Did I say 81? Let me double check one more time. I just want this. Yes, okay. And then from age 50, 4 years. So let's go back and do 4 years right here. Now, very important, okay? Now, when you're here, make sure you click on the variable rate, okay, as a loan. It illustrate better, okay? And then let's see if I happen to click on value. Now, as you can see, they will be able to take out 19,000 first year, second year, third year, but the fourth year, they're roughly about $5,000 missing right there if they happen to use 400. So I mean the 350. So if I happen to increase that to, let's say, 375 a month, and to see the value, if not, I would just go to 400, right? Well, if we do 375, can you imagine what's $25. There's a big difference, right? Now they will have enough money to cover for the next 4 years. But at the same time, I want to make sure that this policy doesn't lapse. So it go to 100. Yes, it go to 121. Okay. So what I normally do right here is I pull out a calculator. Okay. And I will show my client said that now the 4 years in college will put out 19,381 multiplied by 4. You are looking at 40, oops, no, 19381 multiplied by 4, which is $77,524. $77,524. Now let's say the total contribution that they are putting in is about $4,500 a month. So we take $4,500 a month. I mean a year, $4,500 a year, multiplied by 14. We are looking at 63,000. So the total contribution they put in is about 63,000 and stop. And then they're pulling out over $77,000 for the 4 years. Now, according to that information right here, guess what? After they are done with college and they do not put in any more money in, the policy is still in force. Now, for a male, they normally live up to, let's say, 83 years old is life expectancy. Now, as you can see, if they happen to pass away at 83 years old, they still have roughly about $92,000 in cash value right there, or their family will have a death benefit of still $120,000. So here is the plan that you put in 62,000, I believe, $63,000 and stop, and then pull out 77,000 to fund your kid to go to school. And when you happen to pass away at life expectancy at 83 years old, still have roughly about $120,000 left. And that's why, most of the time when I show this to my client, they love the idea. Not only that, what I normally also share with them said that life is full of unexpected event during the contribution phase. Let's say 2 years into this plan, okay, you put in $4,500 in the first year, $4,500 in the second year. So the total contribution is only $9,000. And let's say something happened. Let's say if you happen to pass away prematurely, your family still have about $368,000 as that benefit, where your kid still can use $77,000 of that to fund their college education, or if you happen to be sick, either terminally ill, chronically ill, or critically ill, you still have this money, the debt, the benefit accelerated to you, where you can use that to fund your kid to go to school. So this is a plan that you want to make sure during the contribution phase, if something happened to you, your children is still have the ability to go to school. Now, if you happen to use the bank, or if you happen to use, let's say, a 401k, I'm sorry, a 529 plan, you will not be able to continue funding for your kid to go to school. And this is a case where we're in front of a younger kid. Okay, so the premium is not as much, but as you can see, the target for this plan is already 4,000 right there. Now, if I'm in front of the client and I find out using the DAM method, where they still have the balance on their mortgage, and they still have debt where they need to pay off, and they still want to replace their income. Guess what? I will have to show them a plan where they get more debt benefit. Because what we are showing right now is just one of the dam. Okay, yeah, as many of you know, the dam method is DIME. Okay, D stand for debt, I stand for income replacement, right? M stand for mortgage, and E for education. What we are just doing right now is just find enough money right there to fund their education. We have not touched the mortgage, the income replacement, and the money used to pay up their debt if they happen to pass away yet. So when you do the fast finder and you find out that they can afford to do more than 375 a month, and then you might want to increase that benefit to more, or you want to open one for the wife, so that it will fulfill the situation where they have proper protection. So what I'm going over with you right now is strictly where we show in our client how to get enough money for one kid to go to school using college funding techniques. Now, most of the time, the experience that I have is when I'm doing this, they do not focus on the insurance at all because their objective more like, hey, I just want to make sure that my kid will have enough money to go to school. And when you show them that they only have to outlay 63,000, get out 77,000, they're already happy. And when you show them that they still have the ability to go to school, if something unexpected happened to their health during the contribution phase, they are happier. And when you show them that even you stop paying and you already send your kid to go to school for 4 years, you still have money left in here. And eventually, when you pass away at life expectancy, your family still get over $100,000 right there. In this case, like 120, they are thrilled with the whole situation right there. And most of the time I can get the sale done just by going to those steps. Number one, show them what the actual cost right now. Number two, go to our back office, use the college cost inflation calculator to show them how much it will cost later. And number three, using the illustration software to to do the projection to give them the exact amount for the next 4 years and figure out how much minimum they need to put away to get there, and show the illustration for them. Okay, at this point right now, since this is interactive training, if you do have any question, you can raise your hand or you can type the question on the question box on the go to webinar panel, so I can answer the question for you, um, so that you feel much more comfortable with the process. Okay, I have a question from Clan. Oh, thank you, Clan. Um, he just a great job. So that's what you do. Now this training, I will get a recording of this and post it in the back office. So later on, if you need to review the information, you will have access to it. Now, by the way, the step-by-step of the presentation is on also right here. So if you happen to forget the step, you can go to step 3, and then you can review, what I'm doing right here. The number might be different because that was a different university I was looking at, but very much it's the same concept right there. And then you will be able to, what I normally do is this. I write down all of the friend who have young kids, right? And I call them, and I ask them the year that their kid was born, and I just go through the process, which I just going through, and put it together. I take a snapshot of this information right here. How much it costs? I take a screenshot of that, and then I go to the college cost inflation. I take the screenshot of that. I put it on an email, and I send it to my friend, and along with the summary of the illustration, and I tell them, well, this is a new way that most people use right now for college funding that will uh, cover number one the college funding planning aspect, so that even you have the funding there, but when you fill out the information for the FAFSA form, you uh, you still might still be eligible for financial aid, because the funding that you put away is the on the FAFSA form. It doesn't ask for the access under the life in insurance. Now, if you do have that in the bank, or if you do have that under 529, those assets have to be disclosed, right? And then I explained to them this is just the new way that most people use. And if you're interested to find out the benefit of that, let's get together for about an hour or so that I can explain to you about all the numbers and how it worked for you and things like that. So if I were you, I would create many illustrations that I can in my warm market first, so that I can feel comfortable practicing this process right here. Remember, because when you do have client that go through your workshop, those are a client that you will be in front of them the first time, you will have to go through this process very smoothly in order for you to really get them to commit and things like that. Closing the sale is very simple. What I normally tell them, well, what I'm doing right now is the best case scenario, with uh, assuming that you are in good health. Some of my clients, they like the program, but when I submit the program, and then their health situation turned out to be not good, and they don't have the number as illustrated. So what I would recommend you to do is just to give me your information, give me your driver license right now, so that I can put together the application to submit it to the underwriter for them to review, to see where the your health situation is suitable for this program based on the number provided to you today. Now, if during the process of underwriting something came up differently, and then we can sit down and then we can find out all the options to fund your kid to go to school, and that way uh, you will be able to really find out exactly what you need to do to fund your kid college education the right way. And that's how I close the sale, guys. Um, so with that, if I don't have any more question uh, today, like I mentioned to you, this recording will be available in the back office, And then if you do have a question, feel free to email me or to call me. My email is Dewey, which is DUY, my first name dot WSLG at gmail.com, and my phone number 714-809-6233. Okay, and then I will see you on the next call. Take care now, everyone, and thank you
Well,
for.
thanks. Well, thanks, Dewey. That was an unbelievable presentation. What you guys need to be aware is Dewey is amazing and a master at finding somebody who he calls a greenie, works a center of influence, and helps write thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of insurance. But one thing I've talked to several of you guys about and people miss is what he talked about real quick, DIME, dime, death, income, mortgage, and education. When we are with the client in the first go around, we have the ability to ask practically any question we want because they want to, they like us, they want to make us happy, and they want to make sure they're getting the most bang for their buck. Trying to ask these questions regarding their death, income, mortgage, or education after the fact many times is a little bit more challenging. So all I can encourage you is remember DIME, and remember if you need information, the first time you meet the client when you're sitting down doing what I call a fact finder, it's the best time to do it. So thanks, folks. Dewey, fabulous as always. And any questions, you can get a hold of Dewey, DUY, at WSLG at gmail.com. And, of course, you can give me as well, and I can pass along to Dewey. So thanks a million. God bless everyone, and we'll see you in the highways and byways.
All right, thank you. Well, take care now, everyone.
Thanks, Dewey. Bye-bye.